Hello, how's it going, everybody? Today we're going to be jumping into Psalms. We're going to be jumping into Proverbs chapter 8. And looks like we're going to be continuing. Solomon has been giving wisdom, some words of wisdom to his children, especially to his son. And looks like we're going to be continuing that today. Let me get the text up on first. Let me check this audio, make sure we are not lagging whatsoever, and then I'll get the text up on screen. So give me 1 second here. Okay, let's check this here. All right, we're perfect. We're good. So I'll put that there, and let's get this text up on screen here. So let me make sure the audio is up and we can jump right in. Okay, we're good. So let me actually pull this over a bit. There we go. All right. Now we can get into it. Proverbs chapter 8.
Does not wisdom cry out, and understanding lift up her voice? She takes her stand on the top of the high hill.
I like how Solomon does that. Like he personifies, well, not himself personifying wisdom, but he puts you know what I mean. He speaks about wisdom as a person, and now he's speaking about understanding as a person. Do not let wisdom cry out, and understanding lift up her voice. Oh, okay. So her is still wisdom. But, he's speaking about wisdom as a person. He holds wisdom to that much importance. So, that's cool. And he said that his father David was the one that imparted that importance of wisdom into him.
Does not wisdom cry out, and understanding lift up her voice? She takes her stand on the top of the high hill, beside the way where the paths meet. She cries out by the gates at the entry of the city, at the entrance of the doors.
To you, O men, I call, and my voice is to the sons of men.
So that's wisdom speaking.
O you simple ones, understand prudence. And you fools, be of an understanding heart. Listen, for I will speak of excellent things, and from the opening of my lips will come right things, for my mouth will speak truth. Wickedness is an abomination to my lips. All the words of my mouth are with righteousness. Nothing crooked or perverse is in them.
Right? Because if you're wise, you wouldn't follow the wicked way, right? You can be intelligent and be wicked. You can be smart and very witty, but truly wise, you're not going to follow the wicked, right? Because you know the path that the path that wickedness leads to. It's ultimately destruction. So if you were wise, why would you continue to walk down that path? And we all know, as we read earlier, that wisdom comes from God. And if you have true wisdom, which comes from God, why would you indulge in wickedness? You wouldn't.
They are all plain to him who understands, and right.
His audio is a bit
to those who
iffy
find
today
knowledge.
in this video.
Receive my instruction,
It's a bit
and
unclear.
not silver, and knowledge rather than choice gold. For wisdom is better than rubies, and all the things one may desire cannot be compared with her. I, wisdom, dwell with prudence.
And see, that's why Solomon asked for wisdom. And that's why God was was pleased by that. He didn't ask for riches or gold or anything like that to benefit himself. He asked for wisdom in order to benefit his kingdom, to serve God by, ruling over his kingdom. So for wisdom is better than rubies, and Solomon understood that, which is why he wants his children to understand that as well.
And find out knowledge and discretion. The fear of the Lord is to hate evil. Pride and arrogance and the evil way and the perverse mouth I hate. Counsel is mine.
See, this is important for today's day and age. The fear of the Lord. So in order to fear God, you need to hate evil. That does not necessarily mean hating the one doing the evil, but you're hating the evil way. Right? Jesus didn't hate the sinner, he hated the sin. And that's tough today, especially because a lot of people get that mixed up and they feel like they're being insensitive or whatnot. And they feel like, they need to accept all types of behavior and all types of ways of life, even if they don't agree with it personally. Or even if they don't agree with it personally, they will change their own value system in order to accept things that they might not have originally agreed with, in order to be inclusive, But what is the Bible saying here? The fear of the Lord, to fear God, is to hate evil. So if you're hating evil, does that make you hateful? No. You're hating the sin. You're not hating the sinner. And so people get that mixed up. And then from there, it can go down into the line of fearing God is not good because it's promoting hate. And you're seeing that today, how people tie in Christianity with as a hateful religion, right? They're anti this. They're all, whatever, and that's just a misconception. They're not understanding. They're not understanding what the meaning is. To hate evil doesn't necessarily mean to hate the evildoer, the person, right? Because we're all God's children. You're just disagreeing with the actual act. And that's completely fine. You don't have to, in order to love somebody, to accept somebody, to be inclusive, you don't have to completely agree and stand by every single thing that they do, right? You don't, just because you're friends with somebody doesn't mean that you agree with every single thing, every single facet of their being. You don't need to agree with everybody to be friends with somebody, Same way, Jesus welcomed sinners. He ate with sinners. He was friends with sinners. He spent time with sinners. Doesn't mean he agreed with every single aspect of their lives. You don't have to be inclusive. You don't have to welcome every single aspect of their life. You just have to welcome the person.
And sound wisdom. I am understanding. I have strength. By me kings reign, and rulers decree justice. By me princes rule, and nobles, all the judges of the earth. I love those who love me, and those who seek me diligently will find me. Riches and honor are with me, enduring riches and righteousness.
So seek wisdom through God instead of material wealth, and all that stuff will come, right? So walk down the right path and you will be blessed, essentially.
My fruit is better than gold, yes, than fine gold, and my revenue than choice silver. I traverse the way of righteousness in the midst of the paths of justice, that I may cause those who love me to inherit wealth, that I may fill their treasuries. The Lord possessed me at the beginning of his way, before his works of old.
I find it interesting that it's wisdom speaking to us.
I have been established from everlasting, from the beginning, before there was ever an earth. When there were no depths, I was brought forth. When there were no fountains abounding with water, before the mountains were settled, before the hills, I was brought forth. While as yet he had not made the earth or the fields or the primal dust of the world. When he prepared the heavens, I was there. When he drew a circle on the face of the deep, when he established the clouds above, when he strengthened the fountains of the deep, when he assigned to the sea its limit, so that the waters would not transgress his command. When he marked out the foundations of the earth, then I was beside him as a master craftsman. And I was daily his delight, rejoicing always before him, rejoicing in his inhabited world. And my delight was with the sons of men. Now, therefore, listen to me, my children, for blessed are those who keep my ways. Hear instruction and be wise, and do not disdain it. Blessed is the man who listens to me, watching daily at my gates, waiting at the posts of my doors. For whoever finds me finds life and obtains favor from the Lord. But he who sins against me wrongs his own soul. All those who hate me love death.
Wow. Makes sense, right? Because with wisdom comes proper decision making. What happened? You know, like if you're wise and you follow a wise, if you are searching for wisdom, and that's the path that you're striving to take, you will be blessed, right? Because that's the path that God intends for us. He doesn't want us to make unwise decisions. He wants us to do everything in wisdom, right? Where is 9? That's crazy. That's like a lot of Hey Ricky, what's up? I haven't seen you in one of these lives in a while. It's nice to see you. I'm glad you caught this one in time.
Wisdom has built her house.
But it's interesting, like how much importance Solomon is putting on wisdom. I guess he owes everything to his wisdom, right? It's to the point where he's speaking more about wisdom than he's speaking about God. You know, he's like crediting. Well, wisdom comes from God, you know, and wisdom. And if you're wise, you will lead a godly life. So I guess one leads to the other.
She has hewn out her 7 pillars. She has slaughtered her meat. She has mixed her wine. She has also furnished her table. She has sent out her maidens. She cries out from the highest places of the city.
Whoever is simple, let him turn in here.
As for him who lacks understanding, she says to him,
Come, eat of my bread, and drink of the wine I have mixed. Forsake foolishness and live, and go in the way of understanding. He who corrects a scoffer gets shame for himself, and he who rebukes a wicked man only harms himself. Do not correct a scoffer, lest he hate you. Rebuke a wise man, and he will love you. Give instruction to a wise man, and he will be still wiser. Teach a just man.
We were talking about that earlier, right? A person who is wise has to be humble because they're ever willing to learn more continually. But someone who isn't wise, you know, if they were corrected, they feel insecure about it. Like, I already knew that. You don't have to tell me, right? But a wise person will always find some value in what you're saying and will continue to learn and build himself to be better.
And he will increase in learning. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. For by me your days will...
So fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. So if you fear God, you're starting to walk down the path towards wisdom. And the knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. So if you fear God, you respect God, you're going to want to understand God, and you're going to want to walk in his ways. So the knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. So you fear God, that's a beginning. That's the first step. And then because you're fearing God, you're going to attempt to learn more. And then that's how you start to understand.
Will be multiplied, and years of life will be added to you. If you are wise for yourself. And if you scoff, you will bear it alone.
A foolish woman.
What's Ricky saying? The tree of good and evil was a book back then. The tree of life unseen in the image of God. What tree did Eve eat from? Eve ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. But the tree of good and evil was a book. What do you mean it was a book? The tree of life is unseen in the image of God. What tree did Eve eat from? Satan is destroyed. What do you mean it was a book, Ricky?
Woman is clamorous. She is simple and knows nothing, for she sits at the door of her house, on a seat by the highest places of the city, to call to those who pass by, who go straight on their way. Whoever is simple, let him turn in here. And as for him who lacks understanding, she says to him,
Stolen water is sweet, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant.
but he does not know that the dead are there, that her guests are in the depths of hell.
Right, that's speaking to, sometimes, that you get that rush, that feeling like, holy cow, I'm not supposed to be doing this, and you're excited. So stolen water is sweet, and the bread eaten in secret is pleasant. But those are the ways of the folly. Don't do that. It doesn't lead to a nice place. Like Ricky said, like our book, all the rules. So the tree of good and evil was a book, like our book. Like you're saying, like our book, as in what? As in the Bible? Are you speaking metaphorically? Like the tree of good and evil was a book, like metaphorically, like it contained knowledge, and then that book opened up for them as they ate the fruit, and they were exposed to new information. Is that what you're saying? Are you speaking like metaphorically?
The Proverbs of Solomon.
Okay. Ricky says yes. Okay, cool.
A wise son makes a glad father, but a foolish son is the grief of his mother. Treasures of wickedness profit nothing, but righteousness delivers from death. The Lord will not allow the righteous soul to...
I gotta read, Ricky, I gotta read your comments like I'm reading the words of a wise wizard. Like you're Gandalf, you're speaking riddles. And I got to like... I mean, it's cool, it's fun.
A wise son makes a glad father, but a foolish son is the grief of his mother.
It's not the grief of the father, just the mother.
Treasures of wickedness.
I guess by that point, by having a foolish son, I guess by that point the father's like, all right, you're disowned. I don't care at this point. You're Batman. Ricky's Batman. Hiding behind his cloak. Speaking words and riddles. Ricky, are you sure you're Batman? You're not the Riddler? I don't know.
Father, but a foolish son is the grief of his mother. Treasures of wickedness profit nothing, but righteousness delivers from death. The Lord will not allow the righteous soul to vanish.
I appreciate the laughs.
But he casts away the desire of the wicked. He who has a slack hand becomes poor, but the hand of the diligent makes rich. He who gathers in summer is a wise son. He who sleeps in harvest is a son who causes shame. Blessings are on the head of the righteous, but violence covers the mouth of the wicked. The memory of the righteous is blessed, but the name of the wicked will rot. The wise in heart will receive commands, but a prating fool will fall. He who walks with integrity walks securely, but he who perverts his ways will become known. He who winks with the eye causes trouble, but a prating fool will fall. The mouth of the righteous is a well of life, but violence covers the mouth of the wicked. Hatred stirs up strife, but love covers all sins. Wisdom is found on the lips of him who has understanding, but a rod is for the back of him who is devoid of understanding. Wise people store up knowledge, but the mouth of the foolish is near destruction. The rich man's wealth is his strong city.
So wise people sit back, they listen, and they store up knowledge. But the mouth of the foolish is near destruction, because they're constantly spouting things in their foolishness and not hearing what other people have to say, not building upon their knowledge, gaining more information. Because a foolish person believes that they know everything. Or they don't want to admit that they don't know something, so they're not willing to hear what other people have to say, and therefore they don't continue to learn, and they don't attain wisdom or don't attain knowledge. Because you can be wise without having knowledge. And by being wise, you're putting yourself into a position to attain more knowledge.
Destruction of the poor is their poverty. The labor of the righteous leads to life, the wages of the wicked to sin.
That's important. The destruction of the poor is their poverty. The labor of the righteous leads to life. The wages of wicked lead to sin. And we were talking about earlier that wisdom leads to riches. And wisdom comes from God, which is a righteous. And in order to attain wisdom, you need to lead a righteous life. So in order to escape poverty, you need to be humble. You need to seek God. You need to follow a path to wisdom, which is through God, and you'll be blessed. So it's like a mindset. Being poor is a mindset. And in order to escape that mindset, you need to change who you are. You need to be more open, right? You need to change your outlook. And the beginning of that is a fear of God. That's what we read, right? The fear of God is the beginning, is the first step. And from there, seek understanding. In order to seek understanding, you have to change your mentality. You need to be humble. You need to be willing to learn. You need to be willing to grow, take correction. And from there, God will bless you.
Labor of the righteous leads to life, the wages of the wicked to sin. He who keeps instruction is in the way of life, but he who refuses correction goes astray. Whoever hides hatred has lying lips, and whoever spreads slander is a fool. In the multitude of words, sin is not lacking, but he who restrains his lips is wise. The tongue of the righteous is choice silver. The heart of the wicked is worth little. The lips of the righteous feed many, but fools die for lack of wisdom. The blessing of the Lord makes one rich, and he adds no sorrow with it. To do evil is like sport to a fool, but a man of understanding has wisdom. The fear of the wicked will come upon him, and the desire of the righteous will be granted. When the whirlwind passes by, the wicked is no more, but the righteous has an everlasting foundation. As vinegar to the teeth and smoke to the eyes, so is the lazy man to those who send him.
So you send a lazy man, that's going to bite you right back. Because vinegar to the teeth, that's going to ruin your teeth. Smoke to the eyes, that hurts.
The fear of the Lord prolongs days, but the years of the wicked will be shortened. The hope of the righteous will be gladness, but the expectation of the wicked will perish. The way of the Lord is strength for the upright, but destruction will come to the workers of iniquity. The righteous will never be removed, but the wicked will not inhabit the earth.
Right. You may be wicked, you may be prospering temporarily right now in the moment, but the righteous will inherit the earth, will inhabit the earth. You know? That they're going to win in the long run. So, what did Ricky say? You're almost as smart as me. Wow. Hey, thank you. I appreciate the compliment, Ricky.
The mouth of the righteous brings forth wisdom, but the perverse tongue will be cut out. The lips of the righteous know what is acceptable, but the mouth of the wicked what is perverse.
Yeah, they gave vinegar to Jesus, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Dishonest scales are an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. When pride comes, then comes shame, but with the humble is wisdom. The integrity of the upright will guide them, but the perversity of the unfaithful will destroy them. Riches do not profit in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivers from death. The righteousness of the blameless will direct his way aright.
When pride comes, then comes shame. With the humble, but with the humble is wisdom. The integrity of the upright will guide them, but the perversity of the unfaithful will destroy them. Riches do not profit in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivers from death. So what does that mean? Riches do not profit in the day of wrath. Day of wrath. What is the day of wrath? When God is angry with them? Riches are not going to help you. We're not going to benefit you. You know, when it comes down to it, your wealth is not going to benefit you. But righteousness delivers from death. You know, God is not going to punish you. You're not going to be punished for being righteous, right? And you're rich, and your riches are not going to save you. So those are just material, earthly wealth, right? That has nothing to do with your salvation, nothing to do with you as a human being, as a person, right? It's your character. So cultivate yourself, cultivate your character. Start to walk down the path of wisdom, make proper choices in your life, follow God, live a righteous life, and that will deliver you from death. Don't get so fixated on riches and worldly things. That may give you like a temporary fix here on earth, and may put you in like a higher standing here on earth, and you may feel like, I'm doing well for myself, I'm doing well, I'm blessed, and all that stuff, but that shouldn't be the focus. I'm not saying riches are bad. I'm just saying that shouldn't be the focus. It shouldn't become a crux. Like, you know what I mean.
Direct his way aright. But the wicked will fall by his own wickedness. The righteousness of the upright will deliver them, but the unfaithful will be caught by their lust. When a wicked man dies, his expectation will perish, and the hope of the unjust perishes. The righteous is delivered from trouble, and it comes to the wicked instead. The hypocrite with his mouth destroys his neighbor, but through knowledge the righteous will be delivered. When it goes well with the righteous, the city rejoices, and when the wicked perish, there is jubilation. By the blessing of the upright, the city is exalted, but it is overthrown by the mouth of the wicked. He who is devoid of wisdom despises his neighbor, but a man of understanding holds his peace. A talebearer reveals secrets, but he who is of a faithful spirit conceals a matter. Where there is no counsel, the people fall, but in the multitude of counselors there is safety. He who is surety for a stranger will suffer, but one who hates being surety is secure. A gracious woman retains.
He who is surety for a stranger will suffer. But wait, time out. Did I miss? No, this is it. It's just because I had it pulled up here. It's 10. And then 11. Okay. Whoops. So I wanted to touch on this before, but it looks like I didn't. There were 21 of them. I counted them. Yeah, because I didn't realize we were going through these because they weren't spaced out like the other side I was looking at. But these were like 21, literally like 21 life tips from Solomon. And it was just cool. Like they're like just little sayings. I mean, we already went through them, but I didn't mention that. But it's just cool to see like how he worded things and whatnot. But anyways, let's keep going. Come on.
There is jubilee. The liberty is exalted, but it is overthrown by the mouth of the wicked. He who is devoid of wisdom despises his neighbor, but a man of understanding holds his peace. A talebearer reveals secrets, but he who is of a faithful spirit conceals a matter. Where there is no counsel, the people fall, but in the multitude of counselors there is safety. He who is surety for a stranger.
So surround yourself by people who have your interests, your best interests at heart. People who can help you, advise you, like-minded people, and you will do good. You will do well. You'll be safe. You have that network, that net of people who can who always has your back. Instead of being trying to tough it out on your own, having people who who value you around you will always be helpful.
Will suffer, but one who hates being surety is secure.
He who is surety for a stranger will suffer, but one who hates being surety is secure. So we were talking about this yesterday by promising someone on someone else's behalf, and instead of giving a surety to somebody or assurance to somebody, to a stranger, you're gonna suffer, right? I think that's what this is saying. We can look it up. But he who hates being surety is secure, because you're tying yourself down to anything. I guess that brings security, right? Because you're not putting yourself in harm's way. But this is speaking to us in regards to a stranger, not just anybody. So you don't know who this person is. You don't know if you can trust this person. So this is not saying don't make any promises to anybody, because if you can't keep them, well, you're stuck. It's saying be careful who you make promises with, and be mindful of your promise, and also you have to be mindful about it, because you're not going to break it. It's not just, hey, I'm going to make this promise and then I can't really fulfill it, so whatever. No, you have to keep it. And so that's why it's saying you'll suffer, because if you can't keep it, dang it, you're going to suffer. And we talked about yesterday, where you would have the person who made the promise and couldn't keep it on behalf of somebody else. They would have to humble themselves and ask, hey, please relieve me of this and all that stuff. So basically Solomon is saying, your word is important and you're going to keep it. So, when you promise something, don't promise to throw your word around here and there. Actually mean it when you say it. And let's look up a commentary. Make sure I'm getting it right. What is this? I think I am. But let's see what some other people think. Proverbs 11. What's Ricky saying? The things you see are the riches. We must look at immortal wisdom, not the mortal. Yep. It multiplies. The word you see can mean something different. Meaning that people can have multiple interpretations of what they're reading. Ricky? Where was it? 13. So this says, 15. What am I saying? 13. He who is surety for a stranger will suffer. To promise to pay the debts of a stranger. Okay, so it is exactly what we were talking about yesterday. To promise to pay the debts of a stranger is to invite trouble. It is never a surprise when one suffers because of such a foolish promise. One who hates being a surety is secure. There is security in being responsible only for one's own debts, for the things that they have control over. Yeah, so it was what I was saying. Okay.
A gracious woman retains honor, but ruthless men retain riches. The merciful man does good for his own soul, but he who is cruel troubles his own flesh. The wicked man does deceptive work, but he who sows righteousness will have a sure reward. As righteousness leads to life, so he who pursues evil pursues it to his own death. Those who are...
See, when you put it like that, you'd be like, dang it, obviously I shouldn't be sinning. As righteousness leads to life, so he pursues evil. So he who pursues evil pursues it to his own death. And so, every time you make a decision, make a choice, you got to think about that. Like, is this good? Is this bad? Is this a righteous path that I'm walking down, or is this an evil path that I'm walking down? Because if it's an evil thing, if it's not a good thing, where is this leading me? Leading me to my own death. So I better go the other way.
Of a perverse heart are an abomination to the Lord, but the blameless in their ways are his delight. Though they join forces, the wicked will not go unpunished, but the posterity of the righteous will be delivered. As a ring of gold in a swine's snout, so is a lovely woman who lacks discretion.
Dang.
The desire of the righteous is only good, but the expectation of the wicked is wrath. There is one who scatters, yet increases more, and there is one who withholds.
See, Solomon is just going boom, boom, boom. Life pro tips, one after the other. Words of wisdom.
There is one who scatters, yet increases more, and there is one who withholds more than is right, but it leads to poverty. The generous soul will be made rich, and he who waters will also be watered himself.
The generous soul will be made rich, right? If you even think about that in a practical sense, if you're not generous, what are you? You're stingy. You hold on to your money. And how do you make money? By spending money. You can't save your way to riches, to wealth. You gotta understand how to invest, put money into either other people, into other things, into other assets to grow, and you'll attain riches. If you're not generous and you're stingy and you're fearful and you want to hold on to your money and anything, and you don't want to spend anything, you're never going to be rich. That's a lesson that I'm learning currently.
The people will curse him who withholds grain, but blessing will be on the head of him who sells it. He who earnestly seeks good finds favor, but trouble will come to him who seeks evil. He who trusts in his riches will fall, but the righteous will flourish like foliage.
We saw that earlier.
He who troubles his own house will inherit the wind, and the fool will be servant to the wise of heart.
He who troubles his own house. So if you cause trouble in your own house, to your family, to the people around you, you will inherit the wind. You'll just be blown away. You will inherit nothing, just the wind.
Of the righteous is a tree of life, and he who wins souls is wise. If the righteous will be recompensed on the earth, how much more the ungodly and the sinner?
If the righteous will be recompensed on the earth, how much more will the ungodly and the sinner? What does recompensed mean? To award compensation. Well, that makes sense. It literally to award compensation for. If the righteous will be recompensed on the earth, how much more will the ungodly and the sinner? So they will pay. They will be compensated appropriately. The righteous will be compensated in riches and prosperity on earth, while the wicked, the ungodly, and the sinner will be compensated with destruction. Ricky's saying, remember the servant who hid the knowledge in a hole, right? He hid his riches in a hole. You're talking about the rich guy who hid his riches in the hole, right? Versus the other guy who invested and it grew. Yeah, exactly. Sells it. What does Revelation say about selling? I don't know. I do not know. What does Revelation say about selling? I haven't really read Revelation, to be honest. Only here and there a little bit. What does Revelation say about selling? Yeah, I do not know. Oh, you saw the posts? She's doing okay. She's recovering. She was a bit, walking a bit wobbly after the anesthesia, and the pain obviously. But she's slowly recovering. She's walking around. She's doing better. Not fully back yet, but she's getting there. Thanks for asking, Ricky. I appreciate that. But what do you mean by what does Revelation say about selling? I don't know. You got me curious. I want to look it up. Is this 13:17? And that no man should be able to buy it. No. That's not it. Wait, you don't know? Ricky. So you're actually asking me what it says? Yeah, I don't know. This is all, I've heard this. It will not allow anyone to make, purchase, or sell anything unless the person has the mark with the beast's name or the number of its name. But I don't know how that has to tie with this, with how the generous soul will be made rich, and the one who is, stingy, not generous, won't be able to grow their money. I don't know. See how that ties together, but yeah, thanks, Ricky. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm glad she's recovering. I just read Selling Grain. I don't know. What do you mean I just read Selling Grain? I wish. See, I gotta. My internet here is so bad that there's a delay in the. I think there's like a 30-second delay or something like that in what I'm saying and what I'm also seeing in the chat. So it's like, so when I see something in the chat, I feel like it's like 30 seconds. I feel like it's 30 seconds delayed, but when I get back to my apartment, I got a lot more upload speed, so I'm gonna see if I can cut that delay out. Cause there's settings on YouTube where you can make it, you can make the lag between the stream, what I'm seeing versus what you're seeing, and the chat faster. So I'm gonna try put that to the fastest setting. So. That would make things a lot easier. But that's gonna be it for today. We finished 8 to 11. I really like, and it looks like we had it in 10 as well. 10 and 11, right? Proverbs of Solomon. Like these are cool, like little. Let me make this bigger. They're cool, just like literally life pro tips that he went through. Literally just dropping bombs of wisdom. So these are cool. I feel like these would be cool, like little magnets. I don't know, little cards or whatever. Just little sayings, little wise sayings. That's cool. But anyways, that's going to be it for today. We just finished 8 to 11. Tomorrow we'll jump into chapter 12. Thank you, Ricky, for sticking all the way to the end and chatting and commenting and whatnot. It's always fun to talk. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow, Ricky. That'll be cool. And, but yeah, tomorrow we'll jump into chapter 12. And yeah, that'll be it for today. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.